Hey, I know who this is. Mike!
How you doing?
How you doing? Let's have a look at... Oh my God, my present came through the post there for all London. Sorry about that. Wash your hands, mate. Come in. All right, you excited?
I'm really excited.
All right, okay.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. You're doing well.
Thank
I
you.
can always tell a good hair system wearer. If you'd like to go down, I think Troy's waiting for you.
What?
There we go. Well done, young man.
So you've seen the videos. I'm sure Phil sent you some.
Yep.
So obviously it's been down for about a week. So what we do is we see where if this was, it's not that dirty actually at the moment. Could do with a little bit of a touch up, but not massively. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take this up, only to about here.
Yep.
Clean the front.
Yep.
Reattach it.
Little spray of lace release.
Just a little bit on that front lace. And you should be able to lift that front edge.
Sometimes you can
ever
tap
so
it.
slightly.
Tap it like that to get through the little holes.
Depends on how well stuck it is.
Stuck it
Obviously,
is, yeah.
because this is actually really well stuck.
I had a professional do it last time.
Oh. And then basically we're gonna spray it all the way around, just in the front hairline.
The good thing about that is the lace that we use has got small little holes, so it filters through.
God, it's really well stuck.
Yeah.
So we've got to be careful, try not to get it in your eyes, obviously.
Put your head slightly back.
Yeah, so we don't want it to run forward, buddy.
Scream if you hear it running, cover down you like a raindrop.
Phil did it in another video.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it in a video and I had to sit through it with it.
So we're just adding little bit by little bit just to get it back until you get to roughly about there, where the tape starts to, because there's a band across there, so it stops there. And then when we're there, we know where we are, right?
Okay.
Then get a hair clip. We just pin that hair back just to make sure it stays out of the way when we do this bit.
Remind me to give you one because I didn't give you one of those.
Okay.
Bit of cotton wool.
Yep. So it's actually all right to let the cotton wool bind with it.
Yeah, so what it is, basically it just sits on wherever there's stickiness. So it gives us a good indicator that most of the glue from here is stuck on the system, and most of the glue from here
Stuck on me.
isn't on the system at all.
Excellent.
And on how sticky it is, and how fresh the glue is, sometimes you can just roll it off.
Yeah.
A bit like that, and you'll see bits of it start to roll. Obviously, if it is a little bit more stuck, get a bit of C22, which is the other product that's in your bag.
Yellow stuff.
The yellow stuff.
The yellow stuff, that's it.
Spray on a little bit of cotton wool,
It works.
and as you roll and rub, you'll see it just comes off a lot quicker,
Oh, yeah.
a lot easier. And I don't know if you can see, we're just rolling it.
That's really important because the laces, remember I said to you, hair systems that look good are delicate. So the lace could accidentally tear if you don't get, it's called torque, isn't it? Is
Yeah,
that
a bit
right?
of tension.
Yeah, pay attention to it. So just keep it firm with the lace because otherwise there's a possibility it could tear.
But yeah, just literally rolling up little tiny bits until we get a thing. Right, so for a front touch up, that would be clean enough. Because obviously we're just teaching you today as well, so it's a nice and easy kind of thing. So what we would do, we roll it down, and you can see the edge of the lace. What you do is you get it down like that. Now I always go just below. Now there's no right or wrong way in terms of the gap you leave. Some people will use millimeters, some people use a centimetre. I've known people use like a thumb. It depends on the individual.
Basically, it's your guideline what you feel comfortable to put the adhesive behind it.
Yeah.
But you never put the adhesive on the line because it would never come off.
Yeah, so basically if you go over if you ended up going over that dot,
Yeah.
it's going to be stuck under the glue, and then you've got to take all the glue off to get it back off.
Okay.
And I've done it before, I've learned from experience. So, I need to grab some glue.
It's one of the reasons I have tape at the front. You've seen my video, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks painful, doesn't it? My front touch up. Yeah. And actually, I did actually go and open the door to someone who knocked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. With my miner's helmet, with my hair system pinned back.
What did they say?
They just looked.
So we get a little bit of glue.
They know I'm a bit crazy.
So you use the green label glue, not the blue.
For this one?
For this one,
we use both for you.
we used a bit of everything, but what we'll figure out which one we used on you, and we'll use that one. This I just grabbed because it was the closest one, just to show you this.
Well, we got lucky because we had that one in the test.
So literally, little dots. Brush it all around, make sure you get it all. Make sure you get close to that line, but not over those dots.
I'll send you this video as well. Mike.
And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why you don't get it over that dot. So imagine you've gone like that and you've painted that one.
Yeah.
You'll see why you don't want to do that in a minute.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, so we took the clip out.
Yep.
So what we're going to do, we're going to roll it down, right? Now we tend to put a little bit of tension just to make sure we get those edges down. And we just roll it. Now the reason you don't want to just flop it is because you could end up with creases, wrinkling, things like that, which means you're going to have to redo it.
Did you feel that nice bit of pressure? It was even, wasn't it, all the way over?
Yeah.
When we get to this front, we use the edge of our tweezers. We're just finding that edge of that lace and just putting it down into the glue. So just being as gentle as you can. Now if you don't get every single dot straight away, don't panic. Just get a little bit of glue. I always tend to do it if I've missed a little bit on myself or on anyone, or just a little bit on a cotton bud.
Yep.
Hold that little lip up, put it underneath, wait for it to dry again, dab it down. It's a 5-second job.
Okay.
You can see we go all the way around. And then we leave it for like 5 to minutes. Don't want to start styling it or brushing it straight away. Only reason being, it's still quite soft, so we don't want to pull it up. Right, so about these dots, I showed you, the reason we put it slightly lower is because when you take it down and take it off, always roll it away from the system. Because if you go up, you can sometimes smudge it up into the glue, becomes an issue.
And the lace, and darken the lace.
You can sometimes end up with little dots on the lace, things like that. I mean, you can take it off and wash it all off, but you have to take the whole system off. Now, the next one, we put underneath the glue. And the reason you don't want to put it underneath the glue
There we go.
is because it just literally, you have to really, really rub it to get it off, or you have to use lace release, get the whole thing up.
Plus then the adhesive more than likely will turn white.
Yeah, and then you literally got to take the whole thing up and redo it, which is a waste of time. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take the whole system off. You can still see that dot, still hasn't come off. So what we're going to do, we've got you in the basin just so we can lean your head back, alright? But it's the same principle with the lace release, same as the front touch-up. Use the lace release to get it. It's going to be quite easy to get up past that section because that's the fresh stuff. But we can use a lot more product to get this off because we need to get it all off at the moment. So you can see as we go to the corner, that's where the tape starts.
Yeah.
So it might feel a bit different.
Because you've been on ultra hold, I was coming off alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. We were a bit concerned that after just a week or just over a week it'd be... You
Really
can scream
sticky.
if you like. Is it hurting?
No, it's not hurting.
I think that was
Sometimes, you can scream if you like. Sometimes it's a nice feeling.
There's a few little hairs underneath Regroom.
Jesus. Well done. Well acted. See, look, honestly, everybody, Mike was acting then.
Let's wait this.
I'll get my finger on it, mate. That's it.
Right, so we've got it all off. We're going to put a bit more C22 on that top. It's just to make sure we get all those glues and the residue and everything else off. Same principle as when we did your front touch-up. Roll any excess cotton wool off. So we're going to put some scalp protector on. I remember when we did it the other week, it was alright. This is going to sting a lot worse because we freshly shaved red with a razor this time, alright?
Come on then.
So,
I'm gonna keep your eyebrows in
you
this
ready?
one. You screaming? Oh,
It's manageable.
More of a man than I am. Jesus, I cry when that goes on.
Right then, Mike, this is the first time you see yourself without the hair system on.
Yeah.
You could stand up.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Do you like hair systems?
I love hair systems.
Right. So it's exactly the same principle as what we did on your head, right? Basically anywhere there may be tape or adhesive, just pat it on to give us something. More so, what it helps with is giving us a bit of grip, so that when we need to take this off, you can roll it off, like we did earlier on. But more so with the tape, one of the good things about having tape averse to glue all over is that if I can find the edge, which is just there, what makes it nice and easy for first timers as well. So literally,
Just sticks
Because of the poly band look. Yeah.
you can literally almost, most times, depending on how long it's been on, sometimes it comes off in a few less pieces, all comes off, and it's
Fantastic.
pretty much clean. Just got to shampoo it and get all the things. So that's all the product off.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's
The
That
back
is easier.
section.
that's the benefit of having a poly band against an all lace.
Yeah.
And it saves on the durability of the hair system. You can see how quick this cleanup is. And Troy now is using the cotton wool, keeping it taut.
Just gives, using the cotton wool just actually gives us a little bit more grip. I mean, some people use rubber gloves just so you can get some extra grip on it. I tend not to wear rubber gloves. I tend to just use a bit of cotton wool.
And all this is being done without any solvent. So even though the solvent's there to help with the cleanup, it's the same as anything. It's a chemical. Regardless of it's an easy chemical.
Yeah.
The less solvents are on the hair system, the better for the hair system and the longevity. Yeah. So as much as you can do manually, is great.
Yeah,
But
I
the
mean,
thing-
sometimes what happens is you end up with like little blobs that you can see that have gone through where it's got too hot. Then you would just put a bit of C282 on, leave it for a minute, pat it through, like we said with the holes,
Yeah.
and then we can rinse it out, and it most of the time just comes straight out. We're just going to show you what to do. So imagine, although this isn't really that grounding because it's only been on for a little while, what we do, if I can get some to come out, just a little bit of C282 in there, and we're just patting it through to help get those ground out bits coming through.
I just come in here because I missed the first bit. Always wash it from the back.
Yeah, I would wash it from the back this way, because if you hold it this way, because it gets heavier, you can end up damaging that front lace, which is obviously the most delicate part of the system.
In many ways, when you do it from the back, when you use a brush to brush it through, you're missing the front lace, which is the delicate, like Troy said, the most delicate part of a hair system, a well-made hair system.
So, shampoo into the base of the system. Now, there's a difference. Some people like are really, really delicate. You don't have to be overly delicate. You can give it some little bit of a like tension, bit of force.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is just forcing the hair through, the shampoo through to this side.
I'll come in here as well, that's a really good point. So, on well-made hair systems, sometimes the hair can come through, but what Troy's practicing there, under the underneath, is practicing training the hair to make sure it doesn't come through the base.
Yeah,
It's called underventing.
if you do this, you can end up pulling all the hair through. So it's a good way of trying to think. When you wash a system, same as any hair, you'll sometimes notice it doesn't foam up loads and loads and loads straight away. Now, the reason usually for that is because there's dirt, grease, things like that on the other side. So you can see it's not overly clean. Same as like normal hair. Rinse it through. Give it a good rinse. And I always do a second shampoo. And what you tend to find with the second shampoo is it'll foam up a lot more, a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Just because it's now relatively clean.
Right, so what happened in the Channel 5, 10 years, what is it, 10 years?
Younger.
In 10 days? Yeah, so we had to produce a hair system in
3 days.
3-4 days,
Yeah.
right? So fortunately, my sample bag is a good healthy one with bespoke hair systems in it that I use for emergencies. So we selected one which was almost perfect to Mike's colour, but we knew it is slightly lighter. So on the day of the filming, we used a bit of product in the hair so it looked fantastic on the reveal. But we knew when Mike was coming to visit, we would have to give it a colour. So and it's about, it needs colour down about 1 shade. So we're using a 5-1 and we're using the cream peroxide 6% 20 vol. All right, okay. Troy now will come in.
Right. So conditioner could be your friend when you're doing things like this. Reason being, it protects the base, because if you get colour on here, it will stain. So be extra careful around the front. Around the back, you've got a little bit more leeway. Not saying you should get it on there, but if you do, it's not an issue. But on that front, if you get it on there, you're going to see a black blob every time your hairline pulls up.
And it'll be unnatural looking.
Yeah, so what we do is literally a load of conditioner, which might be enough, might not be yet. And literally we just spread it around that base as much as possible.
And what will happen then, just a couple of mil will go through the tiny holes and protect the hair at the front. And the good thing about this is it leaves the root a little bit lighter. Right, so it kind of looks even more natural when the colour's done. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it tends to like give it that two-tone, which most people have. Not many people have like a one-tone colour hair, so it's not like just all black or all brown. So I'm going to add a little bit more on that front lace.
It's just mixed up with the 6% 20 vol cream peroxide and the cream colour 5-1, and it's gonna
Same thing. A lot of people wear gloves. I don't tend to, but most people, you should really. Right. So what we do at the back, basically, just try to get it as close to that section without going onto it. Like I said to you, it's not a massive issue if you do a little bit at the back, and most of the time, because we've got so much conditioner on there, it won't stain anyway.
And Troy does this all the way round, is taking special care of the front area. This is quite a good point. I'll come in and zoom in there. There's Troy, because he's experienced, is doing it very careful around that little edge, because some of the conditioner hadn't come through. So you've got to be really mindful of that area. Probably for clients, because Troy's experienced, I'll put more conditioner on the front, because one little slight move with that, with the, what's that called, the brush? Then you could end up staining the lace. So Troy's gone around the edge, and now he's going to go through the top.
So real same kind of principle. What we do,
just airbrush it.
we're just brushing it lightly through.
That's a good word.
Because like you can see, if you zoom in here, the conditioner's come through. So it means that the lace is protected. Well, as protected as it can be.
And the good thing about doing this is when Troy brushes it, he's leaving some of the hair, the lighter brown, which is good to have a few blends in it. So it's not one block colour.
And then once we've got all this through, we brush it through to make it even more natural looking. And literally, just hold it at the crown so I don't pull anything through. And all I'm doing is just brushing it through to give you almost like a natural highlight without giving like one heavy block colour. And then just add a bit more in areas where I can see that I haven't quite got enough.
And then what we do is we watch it, because it's not an exact science. The hair colour comes in. We don't know the donor that gave the hair if they had porous hair or not. Right, so you've got to watch the colour, which we always do, don't we?
Like a hawk.
It's because you know, some systems on your colour may colour quicker, some slower.
We've discovered that me and Phil do it the same way as well. So basically what happens is we'll have a colour like this, and the client will be in the room usually, and usually me and Phil keep walking back, going, "You alright, mate? Anything we can do for you?" Come back, because we're actually, what we're doing is we're looking at your hair colour and going, "Is that right?" We're waiting to see if it takes the right way.
Make it nicely.
Yeah, we're just going to rinse it off. So it's the same thing as when you wash your hair system. We always rinse it from the bottom. Give it a bit of pressure, get all that colour out.
Yeah, that's a nice colour, isn't it?
And then
even though it appears darker wet, obviously we can see that's gone.
And then when we dry it off, we'll make sure it's a definite colour match. If not, we'll do it a little bit again, just to make sure, because we want to get it perfect for him, as we do everyone. And we'll get it done, and we'll get it cleaned and attached and put on.
Troy's just given a little tidy up.
Only because he had his hair cut about a week ago, so there's no real need to do a massive cut.
But we are going to get a sample for the bespoke system. Troy's pacing the system just to get his guideline with the dots at the front.
Pretty much spot on there. Like I said to you before, we tend to do just above 4 fingers, just because we tend to say 4 fingers in a forehead. Doing your dots like we did for the front touch-up as well.
Yep.
It's almost the exact same principle for a fitting.
And Troy go all the way around the front and then start applying the adhesive. So Troy's using the Ultra Hold 1 inch,
Yeah.
36 yards, which we use for Mike's fitting. And it's going to show a couple of bits of the taping up.
Yeah, so basically we always start on the edge. Try to get it as close to that edge as you possibly can. Like that. Now, if you're pinning it down, like we do here, it's quite easy just to go like that. Pull the back in all the way off. At home, I would fold it up like that.
Okay.
Leave a bit of tape. Always overlapping the next bit. The reason we overlap is, like we showed you, how easy it comes off when you overlap. If you didn't do that, you'd have to find it each individual bit. But yeah, again, just overlap. Get it as close to that edge as you can. Put it down like that.
And pretty much go all the way around.
Alright? Right. So we've used, with you, Goosebumps Supreme. Really good for people that have heavy sweaters, things like that. We found the bond that really works for you as well. As you came in, it was really stuck. So we've got a good bond with this one, so we're going to carry on using it for you. It's a bit like doing the front touch-up, if I can get the glue out. It's exactly the same as doing the front touch-up. You just need to get as much. Oh, 1 second. Get dried in the nozzle.
Sometimes this happens. The glue forms at the nozzle. You have got to be a little bit careful because sometimes you press and think, oh, I'm going to do it, and then the top comes off and all the glue goes over
Do you
your
know
head.
what? I'm not even joking. I did that in Florida. So I went away for 3 weeks, and the first time I had to do a front touch-up, I was doing it in the bathroom, and I went like that, and the whole lid just went, and all of it came out, and I was just stood in the sink scooping it back into the bottle.
Yeah. So all this has happened to all of us. Yeah. I think there's actually Troy's just taking the lid off now, which is a lot easier.
Doing the edit, so I'm going to do it this way.
So there is some glue down there, which is my responsibility. It's spilled out, and Troy spotted it, and you said, "That wasn't me." Yeah, it was me. So 2 coats you're going to put on.
We always do 2 coats.
Uh-huh.
With Mike, we might actually do 3.
Okay.
Just because I know that's what we did on the day of the
filming
and that. So we might as well carry on as we did it. So like we said, we had a really good bond. And when he came in, we probably could have got another week, if not 2, out of the front probably.
Yeah, that's excellent. Good news. So when you're doing the front touch up, it's so tempting to put your finger on it and go, oh yeah, that's gone now, it's disappeared. But as soon as you do that, that area will be weak because it's put moisture of your finger into it, and you'll find that if you tap the head, that's where the areas have come slightly loose after a few weeks. So basically, use your eyesight and don't touch your head. Adhesive is finished, and Troy's now put in exactly what we used in the filming. Ultra Hold adhesive.
So we always put it right around the bottom, as close to that hairline as we can go without being in the hair, because we want to get it under the tape. The reason we don't put it on the system, because if it goes through into this thing a bit like the normal glue, you might as well write that system off because it is going to get really clogged on the other side, things like that. So this is good just to get around that edge with the tape in, alright?
You have to be very careful with acrylic adhesives. Ultra Hold is one of them. Probably the most popular adhesive around.
That's what I use as well. Okay. You've basically got the exact same attachment as I've got. We've got it all taped up.
Yep.
Showed you how to tape up previously, and we showed you a bit more today. So what we do here is obviously head back slightly because you're a bit taller, and we tend to get it just over in front of those lines, so we know roughly where that hairline's going to be. Roll it back, make sure those dots are touching, all the way across. I'll get that bar down. As soon as I get that bar down, I then check the front. So I don't want to go any further if I can help. That's about right for me. So as we roll it back, we always get a bit of tension.
Yep.
Make sure it spreads. Make sure you fit that gap. Try not to touch the tape as much as possible, because obviously the more you touch it, same with the glues, the more you touch it, the more likely you are to make the stickiness kind of dissipate.
That's a big word.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Where did that come from?
Towel over the top.
Yep.
Smoothing those edges down. Make sure there's no big creases.
There we go. Don't you look pretty?
Like that.
I look fantastic.
And
What we're going to do, get the little tweezers,
Do the front bit.
just to make sure.
done.
Hold that front up. Pat it down like we did at the beginning with the front touch up. Going around any hairs that you feel like are a bit stuck. Just put them up ever so slightly. So on the edges, when we style the system, when we when we wash the system, we tend to get a little bit of flickiness. So on the edges, I always tend to undercurl, dry it under, try to get rid of those edges really, alright?
Okay.
I mean, if you just leave it for a day, like if you're not bothered at home, just leave it for a day, it'll settle down on its own after a couple of hours, a few hours wearing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I come in here. If you're doing an attachment at home and you give yourself time, I literally can sit with my hair looking ridiculous or stuck all over the place for a good few hours before I style it. So the more time you've got left leaving it before you start styling it, the better. Like if you're rushing to go out, then that really hasn't been well planned.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you definitely look like brothers, you two. You've come in and you've been cloned by Troy.
so when you say about the colour,
Yeah.
you probably won't be able to see it quite as much as we can, but you can see it's slightly darker in areas and lighter in others.
I can see that.
So it's almost like highlights, which is what we wanted to do on the top,
That's
whereas
good job.
on the edges, it's slightly darker. We want it to blend in a bit more.
Cool.
Alright?
Excellent. So we get to see Mike's face now. Hold on a second. FA Cup ears. Right, so we get to see Mike's face without the mask on. As you can see, we're socially distant for the COVID police. And if you hear me gasping for air, it's because my mask is thick. So, right, young man. We left, me and Troy, a couple of hours before the great reveal. So you told me a nice story on Skype regarding your mum. So just tell me what happened, you know, just in 30, 40 seconds, what happened when you were revealed to the world.
It was fantastic. Obviously, I hadn't seen myself for about 3 hours, so I had no idea what they were doing. I was told to walk into the room and say hey to everyone. They were all just chatting and just relaxing. I walked in, my mum looks at me, thinks I'm a member of the crew,
Oh
goes
my
like,
God.
oh, and then goes back. There's, I think, about 2 seconds where she's wondering why everyone else is looking stunned and she hasn't got it. She turns around, she sees me, and then she's like, oh my days.
That's amazing. So you mentioned the presenter just jumped up and down, didn't she, when she saw you?
Yeah, that was another. She hadn't seen me at all since before even before I started with the hair work or my teeth. So she was jumping up and down, and just everyone was so excited with the faces. It was really strange that everyone's looking at me like, oh, wow, and I didn't know what the hell they were looking at. But no, the feedback was fantastic.
And what happened when you sat down and looked at yourself and you actually saw?
When I saw myself, the first thing I thought I was looking at was some sort of computer image.
Really?
Yeah, it looked like I looked fake. It looked like I was CG. It looked like, in my mind, because obviously, and I've sort of figured out recently, when I was in high school, I did pictures where I dressed up like James Bond.
Oh, right.
In high school, and I looked like that. That was the first sort of weird stroke.
Do you know what my fiance said?
What did she say?
You look like public schoolboy and James Bond. That's weird. That's fantastic. So I'm going to just come round and look at. I'm going to call you Troy too, because he's moulded you with the hair. And I'd just like to say this on behalf of Hair for All. It's been an absolute pleasure to help you in your journey, Mike. Remember that? We did that.
One
in
day
London.
we'll do it again, people.
Yeah,
One
okay.
day.
Thanks very much, dude.
Thank you, mate.